Time now for Voices of the Future. The show that amplifies the perspectives of the next generation of Republican leaders, young professionals, students, and policymakers who champion the values of limited government, free enterprise, and individual liberty. From grassroots activism to tech-driven policy debates, this program is your front row seat to the ideas shaping a freer, stronger America. Now, your host for Voices of the Future, Ardis Jackson.
Hello, everyone. My name's Ardis Jackson, and I'm going to be hosting the Young Conservative Voices. I am the Vice President of the Silicon Valley Young Republicans. We are a next generation of conservative leaders and voices driven to make change, and we want to energize our Republican base. We will also want to be a voice for young Republicans in the Bay Area and just let them know that they're not alone. Young Conservative Voices will be an outlet for us to express ourselves in a pretty liberal-dominated area. And I'm excited to be leading that change here. So I would like to just let it be known that we do plan to have some young conservative guests on our show. That is something I'm really excited about and looking forward to in the future, and on our show on a regular basis. Also, I would like to just let this be a show where young conservatives can feel comfortable hearing some of their ideals be expressed. The Young Republicans of Silicon Valley, we're trying to be a place where young conservatives can feel comfortable with discussing ideals they normally wouldn't be able to. I've met a few conservatives that were around my age that didn't feel comfortable or didn't feel like they had an outlet to speak their mind. And we just want to be that outlet, and this show will be something where people can hear those viewpoints and then articulate that, hopefully with their friends and family or loved ones. We want to have this be a safe space for young conservatives, and I'm honored to be hosting this show. I will say that, being in the Bay Area as a personal experience for me, just a little background on me. I was born in Detroit. I was raised in Detroit, came to California about over 10 years ago. And it was a very different culture from Michigan. Michigan was kind of, where all the automakers and stuff were at. It was kind of like it's considered a swing state. So we had, I guess, more of a balance between conservative and, liberal. But since coming to California, at least in this area of California, I felt sometimes overwhelmed and just basically silenced, like my voice didn't matter, or the things I wanted our state government to be doing didn't really matter because I didn't agree with the majority view. And it often felt like I was the only one in the Bay Area that had any type of conservative views. I also felt very ashamed or very not very public with my vote in the presidential election of, voting for a Republican candidate, just because of all the, the disdain for our current president. And it just wasn't something that was openly discussed. And so I initially came up with an ideal of why can't we have something where I wanted to see if there were other conservatives out there as well around my age. And so I initially started hosting a little group meeting, and I was kind of surprised at how, there were quite a few young Republicans and who were very proud to be, but they just didn't feel comfortable being open with their views. And so in my mind, I want to kind of change that outcome. And so on this show, I will let it be known that we want to discuss topics that are important to us young conservatives. I would say that we would like to have safer less crime in our streets. We would like to have safer streets. I think we all can tell that, within the last few years, the crime has been getting out of control. And our elected leaders have not really been doing much. In fact, they've been kind of, I would say, almost like helping the situation get worse by reducing crimes to misdemeanors from felonies. And what that did was that caused a lot of uptick in crime, especially robberies in our Bay Area. We couldn't go to malls anymore without seeing mobs of people breaking into stores and just stealing things en masse. Um, and also, a lot of us young conservatives who are parents didn't feel very safe because a lot of people would do armed robberies. And, I'm pretty sure a lot of us can understand the fear that that brought. And being that California is one of the strictest with gun control, um, it was we felt really powerless to have people who were committing these crimes actually pay for the crimes that they were doing. And as a result, this resulted in less businesses in our area, and we had businesses closing up shop. This was devastating to small businesses. As young people here, it was very discouraging to feel like, we couldn't really be entrepreneurs because we didn't have the government on our side, basically. So we would like to discuss more solutions to having safer streets for all of us. Um, we also would like to talk more about on this show of keeping men out of women's sports. I'm pretty sure that that's now a national subject. But this is something that's a real big problem here in California and even in the Bay Area itself. I'm pretty sure a lot of young people, especially young women, do not feel comfortable with the fact of, men who are um, identifying as women being able to come into women's locker rooms. And also, it's not fair to young women who are on sports teams who have to compete with biological men who have all kinds of physical advantages over them. And I'm glad that that's now becoming a topic of discussion. We have some people like Riley Gaines who's been a leading voice on that front. And so I do think that that's something we should talk about more. And I think we should have more of these discussions on our college campuses, and letting the colleges know that this is not something that's acceptable. And I think the best leading voice for that is us young people ourselves. And so we have to be the ones to take charge and make sure that we have a fair environment when it comes to sports. And men should compete in men sports and women with women. So I think that's a common sense thing that a lot of us young people can get behind. Um, and so that's something we'll discuss as well. Another thing that we would like to discuss on our show is less government reach. We've been having quite a bit of more here in California. It's just too much government interference. And so we want to make sure that we can try to have more of our ability to have rights that we want protected, our Second Amendment rights, and not just having government telling us parents like how to raise our children. And I think these are things that is getting quite a bit of pushback now, and we can discuss more on how to bring solutions for that as well. Um, and so we also want to address um, the entrepreneur problem in our Bay Area. And so we have quite a bit of businesses leaving our area because, for one, the COVID-19 made it really hard for people to keep their businesses open. And we've learned from that experience that that's not a good thing to do. And we want to have more business. We want to be more pro business in this area. We have too many regulations. There's just too many obstacles for entrepreneurs to get businesses started here in California. And hopefully we want to take that to the ballot box and deregulate some of these regulations here in California. And so that's something we'll discuss further as well. And I would also say that something that's really near and dear to my heart that I just want to take a few minutes to talk about is the homelessness in the Bay Area. That's something that everyone has experienced in the Bay Area, whether you're rich or poor, and especially us young people has experienced that quite a bit. We've had that on some of the college campuses, and within the last few years, it's been getting out of control. And so I know a lot of young people have felt frustrated about how our government has been handling that, how in a lot of cases they've been enabling this homelessness by not having enough shelters, by basically having these nonprofit groups influence our government to want to keep people on the streets. And to me, that's a humane problem that we should not be advocating for. And I know for a fact that there's been young people who felt powerless in that regard. And so we want to be able to discuss solutions in a humane way where we can, get our people off the streets, because there's a lot of frustration from businesses and from other people who have to deal with this on a daily basis. And I think there's a humane approach that we can do regarding that. I will say that I was homeless in 2015, so it's very personal to me. I experienced the lack of resources to getting back on my feet, but I did persevere with my sister and us taking our destiny in our own hands, so to speak, and working our way out of that situation. And I know that from my experience, a lot of people felt that they were powerless in getting out of that situation, especially when the rent is too high and there's not been enough done on that end as well. So I'm hoping that we can discuss more solutions to that. I have a few solutions of my own. I know for a fact that my voice has been ignored by our elected leaders. I have sent in my solutions to our elected leaders, and they've been mostly ignored. So I do know that this is something that we see on a daily basis here in the Bay Area, and I know our young people are compassionate. We want to solve these problems in a humane and compassionate way. And so that's something I'll be looking forward to discussing more about as well. And I would just say that in regards to the show or the outlook on the show, we're hoping to bring guest speakers on here, people who I can collaborate with. I'm very inspired by the personalities like Charlie Kirk and Candace Owens and others who are speaking out for conservatives and those who are around my age as well. So I'm open to collaborations. I'm going to be looking forward to that in the future and having some guests on our show so that we can discuss ways we can move forward and make a better Bay Area for not only just us young people, but for everyone in this area. And this is something that I care a lot about. I will say that I have big aspirations with this show. And I'm hoping that that this won't just be my show, but this will be our show. And so I will just say that if you feel alone, if you feel like your voice isn't heard, for all the young people out here that's dealing with mental trauma, there are young people who are homeless. There are young people who are dealing with drug problems and other issues. We want this to be a safe space. And when you listen to this show, I want this show to feel like it's advocating on your behalf. And though we're called Young Conservative Voices, this show is open to, we want the well-being for all young people in our Bay Area. And we want this show to be a advocate for our young people. And we want to do this we want to have discussions in a thoughtful and solution-filled way. And we want to make sure that we are speaking on behalf of the issues that are bothering our young people today. And so I am honored to be doing this show. And again, I am the vice president of the Young Republicans of Silicon Valley. And if you want to get more involved, if you're a young person that want to get more involved and you want to feel like, hey, I want to actually do more than just listen, this show will be a good outlet for linking to our Young Republicans of Silicon Valley. We're always looking for more members. Right now, we're at about 20 members in our group so far. We want to hear from you. We want to have more people be part of the movement. I guess I would say our president has started a Make America Great Again movement that has invigorated a lot of young people, and we can make this about us on the local level as well. And there's a lot you can do. There's a lot you can do in your college campuses. There's a lot you can do with letting our elected leaders know that we're not satisfied with the political direction that our, government is going in. So again, my name is Artis Jackson. I'm the vice president of the Young Republicans of Silicon Valley, and this is our show for Young Conservative Voices. I'm looking forward to speaking more to us young people in the Bay Area, and I can't wait to hear from you as this show continues to grow. And I am going to be in this for the long haul. So I'm your advocate. This show is your advocate, and the Young Republicans of Silicon Valley is your advocate as well. Thank you for listening to me, and I hope everyone will have a great day, and God bless you, and looking forward to speaking to you on the next episode. Thank you.
You've been listening to Voices of the Future with Artis Jackson, a presentation of the Silicon Valley Young Republicans. For comments and suggestions or to get involved, email svyr.gop@gmail.com. That's svyr.gop@gmail.com.